All right, welcome back to Leaguing Out. As always, this is your host, Cybershine3.
And the host you like more, Laney.
Starting this episode off with the dig is crazy, but I can't lie.
Would you expect anything less?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
On that note, we have a fun one for y'all today. As you'll probably recall if you follow the account, we requested to y'all drop some questions for us so we could do a bit of an AMA. We got how many respondents?
15 different questions.
Yeah, so that'll take up a majority of the episode, but as always, we'll do our classic pick of the week, talk about what we're looking forward to this week. And then we have a slight variation on our other usual segment, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So
do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I can kick us off. So we already made a rule for ourselves. Obviously, for those keeping up with your polls, this is the week that the second half of the DC Marvel crossover comes out. That being Batman Deadpool #1. We've already said that we're not allowed to pick that
because we both would pick that and it would make the segment less interesting. So we're gonna talk about everything else we're polling.
Yeah.
Which for me, that's another 8 books.
This is like you have a bit of a wealth of options. Yeah. I'll say so. Other than Batman and Deadpool,
wealth of options that does not match my wealth.
No, not at all. Other than Batman and Deadpool, I will also be pulling the first issue of Nova Centurion, Book of Revelation #2, and then the final issue of One World Under Doom. I'm very excited for Nova Centurion. I love Jed MacKay. I love when he gets really obsessed with a solo character. Cough, cough, Moon Knight, cough, cough.
Do you think we're heading to 6 different 10-issue series and 1,000 issues?
I think so. I think... Because if anybody really wants to write Nova, you have to have the passion for it, right? Like, say what you will about, who wrote Sam's solo? I think that was that Humphreys? I think that was Sam Humphreys? Anyway, but that got...
Did Loeb write that for a bit?
Yeah, he did write that for a little bit. But my point being, that got to, like, I think 43 issues or something like that. So that's my point.
I don't care about Nova.
Right, this is my point. Is that, like, if somebody's actually passionate about Nova, the book will go places. So I'm curious to see... And I've always had a passive interest in Nova. I grew up on Ultimate Spider-Man, where he was a supporting character. Should have been Sam, but it was Richard for some reason.
Well, it was more of a New Warriors era in Nova.
Yeah.
It was a New Warriors era Sam to go with a young Luke Cage and Danny Rand.
It was very strange.
You'll never convince me that that's bad, though.
It's a good show, but it's very strange. Mm-hmm. The fact that he was voiced... Oh, no, wait. I was about to say he was voiced by Michelangelo, but he wasn't. Danny was voiced by Michelangelo.
This makes sense. I can't believe they got him back from the Renaissance to do this.
I know, very cool. But yeah, so I'm excited for Nova Centurion. Not my pick of the week, though. Book of Revelation last month was a surprise hit. I very much enjoyed it.
It was a book of everyone shitting on Fabian Cortez for 20-30 issues.
I do happen to enjoy shitting on Fabian Cortez. I also liked seeing some Morocco stuff. We haven't really gotten any Morocco so far from the Ashes, so that was nice. Mm-hmm. But also not my pick of the week.
The only things I've mentioned to Rocco, I think, since Santa Krakoa are a little bit of NYX, and then also the future Power Man thing.
Yep.
What a time.
Very strange, in my opinion.
I have my dislikes of Rocco, I guess.
But, again, not my pick of the week. My pick of the week is going to be the grand finale, kind of, because there's, like, fucking 15 spin-off books.
And then also it seems like Armageddon will also be a spin-off book.
But it's One World Under Doom #9. Spoiler alert for issue 8. This is a spoiler alert for issue 8 of One World Under Doom. You have now Valeria getting killed by Doom's like ultimate attack had me speechless, frankly. I don't know how he's gonna bounce back from this. I'm not gonna lie.
If anyone can find a way, it's gonna be Reed Richards.
Like I don't think Valeria's gonna stay dead. I don't think that at all. But no. I don't know how Doom on like a moral level can recover.
Do you think he's gonna go, oh shit, this is awful, I'm giving up now, have fun with this?
I think he's either gonna like an abusive father, he's gonna like drop and just leave, or we're gonna get a whole reversal of this and like he's gonna cast the No Way Home like everybody forget this spell.
He's trying to cast the spell to go back to the end of Blood Hunt.
Yeah.
And just we pretend that the past almost over a year hasn't happened.
I think it's going to be something like that because I don't know how you can get away with that.
Yeah.
And I just really like this book. Like, is it deep? No. Is it saying something?
You tune
Not
in-
particularly.
You tune in every month to see what the hype moments in Aura are going to be and what the stinger is going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you get the Thing using Stormbreaker, what more was
It was great. RB Sylvia has been killing it on the art. Say what you will about the actual story, the art's been amazing.
Also, say what you about the story, but it's fun to see Beta Ray Bill doing things because Thor.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
The founding Avenger with the hammer lightning powers. Yeah, that's Beta Ray Bill.
I think I didn't mention this on the podcast, dude, but I love the fact that during the Stormbreaker moment, we don't get a classic "It's Clobber in Time." You just get Ben right in Victor's face. He's like, "You already know what I'm gonna say."
It's Enigma time.
It's Enigma time. But yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait to see how this ends. And I will also be pulling when it comes out Zdarsky's Will of Doom spinoff because that looks really cool.
Yeah,
and I'm excited
be ready
to see
for Armageddon,
I know.
whatever that is.
Whatever Armageddon's gonna look like. I'm excited. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I've got a stacked week. A lot of good things. At least one definitely kind of mixed thing. So first off, Absolute Flash. Then I've got Justice League Red, number 4. Married Hectic and Mary Sue, both number 2. Nightwing 132. Titans 29. Unbreakable X-Men number 2. And X-Men Book of Revelation number 2. So I've already said basically everything I need to say about Book of Revelation. I like watching people shit on Fabian Cortez. I like Kitty Pryde doing some fun stuff. That's what this book is.
Yeah.
Absolute Flash number 9. After number 8, I'm really excited for this. The book has finally gotten kicked into high gear.
We're gonna have the rogues storming
The fact that
the base.
with the rogues and Wally working together, it is the one kid, the one little queer kid who ends up in a Discord with a bunch of grown adults who are like, "This is my baby, and I will die for you."
Yeah,
now.
this is my little blurbo.
That's what the book is, and also that's how I feel about Wally. So I'm glad to see that represented on page.
I also think it's fun. We're getting some really weird lore.
Oh yeah.
The aliens? Okay, sure.
Yeah. I don't even know how to explain this. I'm going to let Jeff Lemire explain to me with his smooth Canadian writing.
I was gonna say some
Canadian,
sweet,
yeah,
delicious Canadian. Yep.
Then next up, Justice League Red number 4. I'm excited for Red Canary. She's one of my favorite characters, and she's doing things. And she has powers? ? Also, this is where Deadman finally shows up, which issue 4 of 6. I think this is a limited series.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a limited series.
I found that out this past week. I had never heard one way or the other, but I think it had potential to go a bit longer. But I see why it's being cut off. I'm excited for Sienna moment. I'm excited to see what Boston's doing here. Simon Badslander is not justified, but it is fun.
It is really funny.
This is probably the best book Ahmed's writing right now.
I think so.
And it's not like this. Well, it's the only book he's writing right now since Daredevil got canceled.
I think it's got a lot of balls to address the Power Girl of it all, because I feel like
Post Williams run.
we've gotten so many here's how we're gonna fix Power Girl's continuity, and it's never worked.
And the fact that he's like, I'm gonna fix Power Girl's continuity by breaking it all, so nothing is as broken in comparison.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make it worse, frankly.
And I think that's iconic of him. I think more writers should take that approach to continuity. It's confusing. I'm gonna make something so confusing that nothing else matters, and we can keep living with it.
Yeah.
Mary and Hectic. This is the one that we talked about quite extensively off pod, where it is suffering from the fact that it's an indie series written by a writer who is not guaranteed to get long runs, and she kind of knows that and is doing everything she can to fit all of her ideas into what might end up just being a 5 or 6 issue book. If it's got time to breathe, it would be incredible, but as is, it's good, and I'm excited for issue 2 and see how solid it continues to be.
I think our consensus was we wished the plot of the first issue was an opening arc.
Yeah, even a small 2-3 issue arc.
Yeah.
Or even being told in the flashback later on.
I was going to say, the fact that they tried to cram it into the first issue when they were already moving on to a new status quo, I've been what if we just did a flashback arc when we know we can have...
Yeah, once we've gotten established with who these characters are and what the situation is.
Yeah.
I'm excited though.
The art's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. And my other indie book, also from Boom, also starting with M.A., Mary Sue number 2. This was the sleeper hit last month.
It was.
I went into this not really knowing what to expect, but being cautiously optimistic, and it was a riot.
And now you're watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I feel like those two things are related.
There definitely is a part of me that's watching Buffy because of this. It is Megan Fitzmartin diving deep into fandom culture and exploring what the positives and negatives of it in a really interesting way. And you can tell that she's been there for a lot of the key moments. If you asked her thoughts on Fan, you would have to get a chair, I think.
Yeah. She did have one take I didn't agree with in the first issue, though.
Was that in the Q&A at the end?
Yeah, she picks werewolves over vampires, and I think that's cringe. I think that's a bad take.
I also pick vampires over werewolves. That's for the Patreon, though.
We're not. We have no plans. We have no plans for that. That is not.
But if you want to give us money, my Venmo is. Just kidding. That's also a joke. But also DM me if you have questions. Just kidding. Then Nightwing 132. What is there to say about Waters Nightwing that hasn't been said already, and that we aren't going to say?
That we're going to say
episode?
Maybe later this episode.
It's incredible. Coming off the Taylor run, I was a bit nervous about it, but this is equally good, just in the exact opposite direction.
Yes.
I feel like this is a very X-Men situation where you have 3 legendary runs that are all so different.
Mm-hmm.
You have for X-Men, you've got Claremont, you've got Morrison, and then you get Krakoa blending them. For Nightwing, sorry, you've got Taylor with the optimistic, the better than Batman. You've got Waters with this very grounded and gritty and even surreal at times take. And you have Dixon, who came first in this case, but is kind of the blend of those. And it's writers picking and choosing which aspects that they want to follow.
I also feel like there's a lot of Celia in both of these runs.
Oh, yeah. In both of the Taylor and Waters?
Yeah.
Yeah, Steele did a great job laying the groundwork for what Rebirth Bloodhaven looks like. And although his work might not be the most appreciated, I can't think of the last time we saw Gizmo or Mouse or Stallion. Raptor we saw relatively recently in 2021 with that Robin run.
Oh, that's right.
Though I hadn't seen all of those rogues that Dick had as allies. That was a fun status quo. Orca was in there for a minute. We haven't seen
We got a Deathwing callback, though.
We did, yeah. That's even going back to Morrison, though. But yeah, so Celia did a great job laying the groundwork of what Bloodhaven is. Even if some of the character contributions he made haven't been as noticed, the setting is felt.
Yeah.
I feel like this definitely follows more on Celia's Bloodhaven than Taylor. Taylor cleaned it up a lot. It is kind of going, but what if that was just one small section? What if the rest was still just as bad?
Yeah.
And a complete tonal shift, we have Titans.
You're still pulling Titans.
I still have hope that at some point the writer will change and we'll get good content for Donna and Roy. Because they need it. Roy's been getting it, but it's about to end. And Donna, yeah.
Did you watch that recent YouTube video about, like, Donna's continuity and, like, the weird spot that she's in? I don't remember who uploaded it.
I have not seen that. But also, a video about Donna's continuity. It's got to be, like, what, 10 hours long?
It's only 14 minutes, if you can believe it.
So it's skipping over a lot. I would pay to see a full video essay about Donna Troy's lore. Sort of superhero, if you want to get on that. Comic tropes, if you want to get on that.
The same channel just dropped one about Pantera, like all the the weird obscure Titans from the late 80s.
Yeah. That'd be fun. And then finally, other than Book of Revelation, we have Unbreakable X-Men. Now, this might be a bit of a controversial take. I'm liking it. It's fun. I just wish I saw my girls in it. Where are Calico and Jitter? Are the lesbians happy in the apocalypse?
I really enjoyed Unbreakable issue 1. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm. Some of the rogue stuff is a bit odd, but that's also what happens. Two creators, and the solution is, what if we just make 2 rogues? Because in apocalypse, it doesn't matter.
The sad Gambit content has been hitting.
Yeah. The fact that he aged 50 years and 10 years.
Again, I was going to say, when you lose a great woman in your life, and you age 50 years and 10 years, and you're blind because you're so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Lucas Vernac art, as always.
Of course, yeah. Vernac always kills it. So if I had to pick one of these to be my pick of the week, I'm going to give you my Marvel, my DC, my Indie, and then narrow it down from there. Marvel's got to be Unbreakable. It's between that and Book of Revelation. As much as I liked Book of Revelation, I'm excited for Sad Gambit Hours. DC, I'm going to have to give it to Nightwing, I think. And then Indie, I'm putting Mary Sue above Mary and Hectic. And of all of those, I think I'm going to go Nightwing as my number one overall pick of the week.
Interesting. We are getting a lot of developments.
As someone who steals all my books, do you have a thought on what your pick of the week is?
Well, I was going to say, the end stinger from the last Nightwing issue was really interesting. Yeah. The Zanny's making his moves.
This is just a good week to be a fan of Dick. You get Taylor Dick and Waters Dick. I think so much more Dick this week. I guess there's also, what's his name? I'm playing Layman Dick, but I don't care as much about that.
Whatever. I still haven't read the Titans issue from last month because I really don't want to.
2 good doses of Dick in 1 week is all I need. I don't care too much. The third isn't great.
Clip that.
Listen, everything I say is for the clips.
Speaking of things that'll be for the clips, I think let's move now on to our question segment.
Yeah.
With our 15 different respondents. Dee, why don't you take it away and drop the first question on
So
me?
our first two questions actually are from Godzilla. She asks first, why won't you return my calls? Because they're going straight to their secretary who still hasn't been hired yet.
Well, and you put ketchup on your hot dogs. Sorry,
Oh, so that's why they've been getting...
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
This is all Cyber's doing. And secondly, she asks, your favorite is a new series, but the art and the only covers are drawn by Greg Land. How do you respond?
Well, as X-Men fans, unfortunately, we have literally had to suffer through that before, so I think we can bear and grit it a little bit.
On the DC side, it would be rough to see stuff drawn like that, but also, it's better than the one cameo, like the 3 cameos a year she gets in the back of cast books.
Well, and I'll go one step further. If it's a Roxanne Thor approach, where it's like a meta and in context reason.
Roxanne Thor, that book came out, what, 2 years ago now?
2 years ago now.
Time flies. I still remember when I read that, like right before going home for break. Like, you basically ran over to my room to give it to me. And honestly, I don't think you gave it to me fast enough.
Let's say...
Screenshot the panels, make your memes, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I'll even go one step further. If you could do something like that, but talk about... Like, take Moon Knight and talk about how, like, mental health has been, like, fetishized and, like, commercialized in media, and use the Greg Land art as, like, a metatextual, like... Ooh, isn't it so sexy to be schizophrenic?
And on the DC side, try to do the same thing with Steph. You do something about social media and the internet's effect on teens.
Yeah.
Do something you could bring her kid in and do something with that. That would have to be a very good writer to handle that, especially with Steph's kid and everything behind that. I think there are writers who could do it. That'll be. I'll talk about
Land
that
is like
point.
the loaded gun of an artist. It, like, used effectively, like, can invoke a good change, but 9 times out of 10, it's not good.
So then our second question comes from Hannah, and it asks, "When will you wear wigs?" This is I'm going to answer it up to you.
I think Leif Erikson Day, maybe. We could do that for Leif Erikson Day.
Okay. You can all clip this. You can all spam us with this. Leif Erikson Day.
Hit us up in February. We'll see. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah. We'll find wigs. Don't worry. Next up, some random smartass with 3 different questions. First question: why are you gay? Because have you seen women?
The Hex Girls from Scooby-Doo, Mystery of Vampire Rock.
And you took your name from one of them.
Yes, I did.
Would you still date that one even with the same name?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so we have a Taylor Lautner situation.
Yeah, essentially.
Second question from Smartass: what is love? And all I can say is, baby, don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
No more. And finally, dream creative teams.
Now, this is actually a pretty good question.
Are you implying that the other ones weren't? Okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna go right off the bat. I think I know it's very basic, but I do agree with a lot of people that a Dan Waters Daredevil book would be exceptional.
No, that's an X-Men book.
Right. Oh, actually, speaking of, though, a lot of people want the Dark Patterns creative team. I would actually do Dan Waters and... okay, this is kind of a weird one. Bring back Bruno Redondo.
Okay. Waters Redondo on Daredevil?
I think that would go really hard.
I can see the vision here, yeah.
And the Sorceress Supreme.
It doesn't have to ring. You can't force that.
It doesn't work.
So, for me, a dream creative team, it really depends on what book. There are different books that have different creative teams. But if we're getting, like, my ideal Teen Titans Young Justice book with a bunch of those ignored DC blondes from the 90s and 2000s, I feel like Kelly Thompson would do great. I feel like you could even get Alyssa Wong in there, and they would do great. For artist, that's a tough one. DC's been having so many killer artists lately. That's hard to pick one.
See, I'm shocked you didn't say, like, Stephanie Phillips and Carmen Kamenko on Batgirl ongoing.
That would also do well. DC's got a plethora of really good artists that they've been working with lately, who I think could all do really well on a team character book for this.
I lied. Peach Momoko, Cassandra Cain ongoing.
Okay.
I lied. That's the correct answer.
I won't be able to get to sleep now because I'll be imagining
that. I lied.
After her cover for Marvel DC,
Please. I don't care. I know we were literally just complaining off pod about like people forgetting what type of Asian cast is supposed to be, but I don't care. Like, Peach, please.
the next question comes in from Wiccan's #1 fan, Alex Maximoff, and he asks, favorite moment of your favorite character?
Ooh,
I'll lead
this
off
is
with
tougher.
this one. So Steph's got a couple good moments. I think the first one, this might be my #1 overall, has got to be her snapping out of the Black Mercy on her own to end up saving the day at the end of her Batgirl series, and then recounting those memories to Babs. It's not like Power Skills eat your heart out. Superman
I
could
was
break
gonna
free of the
say,
Black Mercy, but
yeah.
Stephanie Brown could get her a lantern ring. But it's a really good character moment, much more than a physical. As for a couple others, there's a lot of good stuff in Batgirls. And there's a lot of good moments with Cass, and those are always incredible. However, they aren't power scaling feats of strength moments. Steph doesn't have a lot of big strength moments, but she's got a lot of good character moments.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
A couple good ones from the Tim Drake Robin series. The time she was redhead. That's not a moment, but that was a book.
I'm surprised you're not putting like
being Robin, stepping up.
Yeah, I was gonna say just
I was
being
gonna say,
Robin.
stepping up and seeing that Tim had quit and that Bruce needs a Robin, and then arguably being the best Robin of following Dick's legacy. At being the kind of, arguably she's very close to Dick in characterization. They're both spunky. They both have a chip on their shoulder and a grudge against the world, and they're out to fix it. And seeing the difference in how Bruce treats her versus Dick or Tim, who also had very similar personalities, is shocking. Part of that is because early 2000s Bruce was awful, and I think part of it is because she was a girl.
Get them for that.
I'm saying all this as I look at my wall with all the Steph Robin comics hung up in order.
It was the first thing I noticed when I came for recording today. And a surprise to no one, two of my favorite moments are from Jed McKay's Moon Knight run. I know, shock and awe. In an earlier issue, where Mark is talking to his therapist, Andrea, and she's asking him about what he likes to drink, because she's like, I've learned a lot from your alters based on what they drink. Like, Stephen Grant likes fancy martinis, like Jake Lockley likes shitty whiskey. What does Mark Spector like? And he like turns around because they're standing on a roof because it's dramatic.
Yeah.
And he looks her dead in the eyes and he goes, vodka, ice cold. It's what my parents used to drink, and it reminds me of the Chicago winter. I worked in a lot of hot places, and that drop of cool ice going down your throat was the only thing between life and death.
As a Chicago winter survivor, how accurate is that?
I mean, you can say better than most. So I like that. And then the other moment I really like, also involving the three of them, is where after almost killing Zodiac and Steven has to stop him, Mark has a meeting of the minds where all three of them talk to each other, and Jake and Steven are like, hey, like, this is really unhealthy that you keep pretending we don't exist. Like, we're supposed to be a team. We had this whole moment in the Jeff Lemire run where we like, you know, we are Moon Knight. We don't need you anymore. Like, what the fuck's going on? And then Mark gives this like great speech. He's like, Stephen Grant's the charming, suave billionaire. Like, Jake Lockley's the lovable rascal. You two are the only parts of me people care about. Who the hell wants to hang out with Mark Spector?
Aww,
And it's just this like devastating moment of Mark just being like, I'm a fucking loser.
Iconic, because unfortunately he kind of is. And that is the charm of him. Everybody loves to hang out with the fucking loser. That's why we have this podcast. So you can hear two of us
I was
talk.
gonna say, it's why Tigra is like madly in love with him. She's like, you are such a flop of a man.
I was to say that all of the best straight relations to the comic kind of are badass woman and flop of a man.
And then for DC...
And yes, this is calling Clark a bit of a flop of a man.
It is. Oh, absolutely.
And I'm standing by that.
Very relevant. I was going to throw in that scene from Action Comics where John finds the War World costume in the closet, and then Lois has super speed for like 2 seconds. It's like, hey, maybe you should go to the kitchen.
We moved the board game. Sorry. But yeah, if I had to pick a Marvel favorite and a favorite moment of a Marvel character, my favorite Marvel, I'm going to go with either the Kate Bishop and America Chavez. Everyone on this team's gay except me. Look yourself, princess. You're not that straight. Absolutely iconic.
It's that TikTok audio
from
with
the
the flags.
From the end of Gil and Young Avengers, I've got an American flag in front of me and an American
Fag behind me.
iconic. Even
Everyone's a little gay. Is that the French flag?
works even better with when you literally have America in front of her. And then alternatively on the X-Men side, I'm gonna have to go with Kitty Pryde and Emma beating the ever-loving shit out of Sebastian Shaw and Marauders.
It is really powerful.
Like, we were just talking about this before recording about two great moments from Marauders. The Kitty Pryde beating up Shaw is a fantastic character moment. However, from a pure cool mutant power moment, I don't know what issue is off the top of my head, but the one where Iceman, Bishop, Shaw, Emma, and Kitty end up forming like an ultimate mutant circuit to survive in space for a bit. That's just a fun power scaling mutant circuit moment.
That was really cool. I'll also throw out there, I know it's very basic.
We have lots of favorite moments and lots of favorite characters.
This is my last one. It's very basic,
Sure
but the scene in year one where Bruce confronts all the mafia dons at the dinner party and he closes the cast on the flaming cheese and he's like, "You've eaten well tonight, gentlemen. You've eaten the poor and the youth of this city. Well, starting now, I'm here to collect," or whatever he says. It's peak Frank Miller. Like, it's just so like
most of the early year Batman stories are just iconic for good reason. With that Long Halloween, Dark Victory, which I've started. I'm going to finish it soon.
You are going to finish it.
And then I've heard the last Halloween's incredible. Batman and Robin year one, I've heard it's incredible, and I'm going to start that soon.
I will say, I know a lot of people have a bone to pick. I don't remember which writer made it canon, but whoever was like, "Oh, Bruce pees himself in that scene," I find that endearing and very
Wasn't that
relatable.
Frank Miller?
No, that's not from Miller's run. That's that's somebody writing.
I thought it was a Miller retcon.
No, that's somebody else. But a lot of people don't like that. I find that very humanizing.
Okay. And to counter out with a couple of early stories that aren't the legends we talked about, All-Star Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder. I feel like people need to revisit that now that we're getting Cartouche. So just read those as a pair. That could be fun.
I think.
And alternatively, year two, Dark Side.
I was gonna say, when Bruce is drinking the yellow milk in the yellow room.
That's lemonade.
Oh, the lemonade, yeah.
Because he is Robin, go fetch him more lemonade.
Yeah, go get me lemonade. I think that's one of my favorite panels. The way
that issue is actually kind of incredible. It's a really good issue in the middle of everything else going on there.
Just the. Well, we should, for the sake of time.
Yeah. Moving on to a question from Nerds Are Us, and he first asks, favorite comic runs and why? I'll let you lead on this one, because I've talked about this a bit before, and I don't know if I've heard yours.
See, the problem is that I have a bad tendency of jumping around. I never stick on a book for too long.
Yes.
But because I've read literally every issue of it, I think by default I just have to give it to Jen McKay's Moon Knight. I fell in love with this book when I bought the first trade. There was something about the way it characterized Mark and like the respect that it had both for his continuity, but also the real world changes in mental health that we've had over the years. In the first volume, you get this great scene where he's talking about like being raised Jewish and having a rabbi for a father, but being the servant of an Egyptian god, and how like loaded that is for him historically. And like it's just a great scene, and the book consistently keeps it up. You know, you have such enduring characters like 8-Ball and Soldier. Tigra. It's the most I've ever cared about Tigra before.
Wow. Well, you haven't read West Coast Avengers
exactly,
yet, and neither have I. So.
But I'm probably going to, because guess who both are in West Coast Avengers?
And Hawkeye.
Mockingbird's also there. But yeah, like it's just a really good book, and it's consistent. And the fact that like it is so graced in Moon Knight lore, but you don't need to read every single issue of Moon Knight to get it. They do a good job of explaining things to you and why things are historical. Oh, it's just good. I really hope it gets to 100. We're dangerously close, and I'm very excited.
I think that'd be hilarious if Marvel cancels it at 99.
Oh, that'd be evil. That'd be the eviler.
Yeah, and it's Marvel. What'd you expect?
Well, I'm actually going to check this
out. And as for me, a couple of my favorite runs, gonna start off with Batgirl 2009. I genuinely cannot talk about this run enough. It is definitely the best place to begin reading about Stephanie Brown if any of you are interested. It does a great job of melding her character and progressing at the same time. It's a very fun setting. She starts to get her own supporting cast, which I don't think any of them have been seen since the book ended. It got cut short because it could have generally kept going. There were plans to keep Steph's story going, but then Flashpoint happened. If you're looking to get into Stephanie Brown, read Batgirl 2009. If you've read a lot of Tumblr and Wayne Family Adventures and want to read that stuff, Batgirls is really fun. It's not the best characterization, but it's just a fun book. It has a lot of very good Stephanie Brown and Sandra Kane moments, and I'm a sucker for those, as you may or may not know. I say that like you may not know, as you know. Then, to get one that's not a Stephanie Brown book, I'm going to go with Immortal X-Men by Kieran Gillen. That was the very first, I think, comic overall I ever read.
I was gonna say, have you talked about that on the pod before?
I don't know if I have, but yeah, Immortal X-Men was the first comic I ever read. It is a lot better when I've read it with the context of House of X Powers of 10, with the context of Ten of Swords, and with the context of Inferno and Eli's death, and a little bit of Eli's deaths. But even as the first X-Men book I ever read, it was incredible, and it gripped me and it hooked me on comics and X-Men. And I guess it's a very good segue to the second part of this question about what made you get into comics and to discuss them on a podcast. So I started reading comics because of the MCU. I was like, I'm going to go check out these funny little books about the Marvel characters. And some of the first comics I read, Immortal X-Men, X-Men Red, the first issue of Zeb Wells' ASM. I dropped that one because I started reading it and I was like, I don't know what's going on here, so I'm going to come back to this later. And at this point, I've still, I think, only read the issues that have Paul in them, as an ongoing bit Cyber and I have, where we will sometimes just catch up and read all of the Paul appearances.
The Pauliverse.
Then, I'm trying to come up with any others. The Kate Bishop Hawkeye mini was coming out around that time. I think I read a bit of Fraction Hawkeye as well, but I didn't really get on that until I bought the first trade, and then I eventually got given the omnibus of that. Fantastic run. But yeah, then it took a couple of years for me just to get into DC, and I was like, Nightwing, what's his deal? So I read, first it was Tim Drake. Ugh.
Yeah, you used to be a Tim Drake person.
I did, yeah. And I read that, and that my first introduction of Stephanie Brown was in the Tim Drake coming out special.
Good for him. Or her, I suppose.
Well, we all know between her and Cass, but and I was like, what's Nightwing's doing? I read all of Rebirth Nightwing in a span of like a month or two, just in time for Nightwing number 100 by Tom Taylor to come out. So that tells you when this was. And then I got a recommendation to read Batgirls from the YouTube channel Nando V Movies. Fun channel, I recommend. But he talked about how much he liked Batgirls, so I was like, I'm going to go and read that book. And I was like, okay, I see. This is a fun book. And then I kept getting recommended to read Batgirl 2009, and I did. And here I am now as a trans woman.
This explains a lot about society, I think.
And we'll talk about the podcast one together at the end of this.
Yeah. I was very fortunate to grow up with a father who was a total nerd. I read his copy of X-Men #1 until the spine fell off. Don't worry, it's the Jim Lee one, so it's literally the paper it's printed on is worth more than the content.
I have 5 copies of that in here right now.
Like, I don't even feel bad, but I read that a lot, and he also had copies of The Tick and random issues of like Books of Magic and Sandman and Hellblazer. So that was a lot of my stuff. We also had VHS copies of the X-Men, the animated series that I probably watched till the tapes burned.
I wish I got to grow up watching good superhero shows. The only superhero shows I watched as a kid were Ultimate Spider-Man, which I do genuinely like.
I did.
And also Teen Titans Go, which I do also like. It is much less, even less serious than Ultimate Spider-Man, but I still enjoy it. And the movies for that are unironically incredible.
Good movies.
But I wish I got to grow up on BTAS and X-Men the Animated Series and all that stuff. I still have only seen a handful of episodes of BTAS. I ended up watching all of X-Men the Animated Series just a couple of years ago for X-Men 97.
Oh, that was the other thing. I watched a lot of... Because Brave and the Bold was coming out when I was a kid, so...
I never watched it.
And now you get to experience Peak.
I wish I did. I've seen the Music Meister episode probably like 5 times and listened to the song. If I had to guess conservatively 100 times...
You've listened to it quite a bit. And you don't even like Neil Patrick Harris, though.
I never said that. I just don't like who he is on How I Met Your Mother.
That's fair.
Which I also haven't seen much of, but...
But yeah, so I read a lot of that stuff. And then for my 11th birthday? When was 2016?
2016 would have been what? You were 12, 13?
12? Yeah, let's say 12. My 12th birthday... my dad was like, hey, like, you like reading my comics and you like checking comics out from the library. What if I got you like a proper like subscription where you'd get them in the mail? Because they used to do that still.
Yeah.
I'm told now that's not a thing anymore.
Womp womp.
Jeez. I can't get into it. Anyway, so I was like, well, I want Batman because like most 12-year-old boys, I liked Batman.
And which Batman run was this?
The Todd King one. I joined on about when War of Jokes and Riddles started, which I think explains a lot about me.
It does. I've still haven't read War of Jokes and Riddles, but it does explain a lot about you.
And then the other book I wanted, Comic Drake had just dropped a video on Champions, which was coming out, and I found the concept really interesting. I knew Miles from Ultimate Spider-Man and from some other stuff, so I was like, I like Miles, and all these other characters seem cool. So I read that.
And this is the book that you credit with saving you from the alt-right pipeline,
I would say,
right?
yes, I would say that.
Shout out Mark Waid for saving you from the alt-right pipeline.
Because it was that, and then much later, actually, I would say this tied more directly to when I actually started going to the shop recently. I was very interested in all the discourse around the first Joker movie.
Oh boy.
And when that movie came out, I was definitely on the wrong side of YouTube, and I was fully expecting, like, you can't see my big air quotes, but like the woke mob would lose their mind, there'd be riots in the streets. And then that movie came out, and it was just okay, and I was like, oh, and that's weird.
Everyone acted like it was incredible, and it is kind of just okay.
And it's just okay. But there was no, like, violence, there was no, like, nothing, there was not a revolution that happened, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, all the people who tell me what to think, like, told me this was going to be a big deal, and now it's not. So what's going on with that? And around that time, I was working in a movie store, and I had a friend who worked there who also read a lot of comics, and he told me to pick up two things. He told me to pick up Immortal Hulk and Arkham City Order of the World.
Oh, both, I don't even know where to start with this.
Both immaculate recommendations. Shout out Adam Wabi.
I'm just going to say that I read Immortal Hulk in the span of like 3 days around the exact same, like, started I think the day before I publicly came out to everyone and read it through there. And like, I put out the post coming out to people, and I was like, okay, I'm very interested and don't want to look at what I've been saying, so I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and read like 30 issues of the Immortal Hulk in one sitting.
It is that good. But yeah, and then that's when I started pulling stuff regularly, because Arkham City Order of the World was still coming out at the time.
That was 2021, 2022?
Yep.
So just before we just started college and we met.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, I didn't start buying comics until after I'd started school. And really, it was and this also ties into how Cyber and I met at our school's comic book club. I hadn't been going for a bit because I just didn't get the note. I didn't end up on the email list for like almost a year. But so eventually I reached out and was like, hey, where's the club meeting? Because I saw that they were giving away a cool cover of Gambit #1, the Claremont miniseries from 2022.
Which would go on to become quite a historical item in our friend group.
So I ended up going to that meeting. I didn't win the giveaway, but I did go down to the comic shop, which is literally basically right underneath us right now.
Yeah, we could look at it if we really wanted to.
I think it's on that side of the building, so no. But shout out Third Coast Comics in Chicago with owner Terry. We love him. He's an incredible person. I went to that shop and I got the first issue of Gambit. I think the first 2 issues of the Midnight Suns comic that tie in for the game. I love that game. The comic's fine.
You had to suffer through DNA covers through that.
I did, yeah. Not even to mention when I got the Greg Land cover of Spider-Gwen Shadow Clones for free, and then I was like, okay, now I have to finish this, and kept buying DNA covers.
You did.
There.
And then as for the second part of that question...
So we met our freshman year in college and hung out a little bit, but not a ton. And then our sophomore year, and in the summer between freshman and sophomore years, we started being insufferable together.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then by the time last year rolled around, we were like, okay, we have spent time literally just sitting in a room and talking for multiple hours. What if we recorded this? Wouldn't that be funny?
And that's how it started.
Quite literally.
Well, actually, I would say a year. We said that, and then a year goes by.
And then last month, we had finished up getting our comics. We had the room for our comic book club meeting, and we had a couple hours to kill, and we're like, we're going to sit and talk about comics anyway. What if we record this? That was almost exactly a month ago.
And now we can all share in the experience.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you have to deal with us.
Womp womp.
Did you say no? And then next up is Spiders, and she asks, who are your favorite villains?
It's like picking your favorite kid. I don't think I have like a good, like, this is who I like the most. Mm-hmm. Literally last night, I was going off about Tombstone, how much I like Tombstone.
You were, yes.
I think he's my favorite of like the Spider-Man Mafia characters, which is saying something because I do love Kingpin, and I love Hammerhead as well.
What about Silverman?
It's Silvermane.
Yeah.
Great example. They're all very near and dear to me,
The
but I think
Rose.
Lonnie Lincoln... Oh, the Rose, of course.
But yeah, Lonnie Lincoln, he's fun.
I grew up on Spectacular Spider-Man and hearing Keith David's sultry tones. Yeah.
Keith David.
Keith David.
What more do you have to say than that?
He just kills it. But if we're talking more broadly, I'm always a sucker for a good Lex Luthor moment. I really liked Nicholas Holt's. I remembered Nicholas Holt's performance in the recent film,
Absolutely incredible. Probably one of the defining villain performances of our generation.
which is saying something because we already had Clancy Brown, Mr. Motherfucking Krabs, also delivering an amazing Lex Luthor performance for several years.
It's hard to do a bad Lex Luthor. Giancarlo Esposito's been doing a really good Lex Luthor on Harley Quinn. Very different tone, but still incredible.
No, all good. And then
if everyone's seen Bad Lex, Good Sex, my life is good Lex everywhere. End of sentence.
End of sentence. And then I feel like I can throw in one more. I am very partial to Sauron of X-Men
Yes,
fame.
you are.
I famously hate Funko Pops. One of the only Funko Pops I've willingly bought for myself was the 8-bit Sauron they dropped for
I remember this,
X-Men 97 because
Sauron.
the Sauron slop is hard to come by, friends. The Sauron, we are not drowning in Sauron slop.
Believe me, I get it. I'm looking at my Stephanie Brown Funko Pop over there, and also the Spider-Boy one. But for me, a couple villains, I'm going to put these three together as a package deal of Cluemaster, David Kane, and Lady Shiva.
You love evil parents.
Just because as a Stefan Cass fan, I have to like their evil parents. And even on the same note, you can get into some of the Kate Bishop villains.
My favorite villain, Crystal Brown.
Listen, depending on the era, sure.
She is a minute.
New 52 Crystal absolutely is. Steph's first appearances, maybe, but also it's kind of feel bad for her. But then by Batgirl, she's a good parent. Crystal has had, honestly, probably more development than Steph has. But just like Steph, it all got taken away, so. But then, for a favorite X-Men villain, I'm going to go in saying I love seeing Fabian Cortez get his ship rocked. Making fun of Fabian Cortez is a national pastime, especially in Book of Revelation. I'm also going to throw out Exodus, who I didn't really know or care about until Krakoa, but Gillen did an incredible job making him sympathetic, but also kind of hateable.
Oh, and I feel like we're both avoiding the elephant in the room, but we are diehard Mr. Sinister heads.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the Sinister, the Sinister stronghold over
and
here.
You have two queer people on the podcast talking about how much they love X-Men, and you think we don't like Mr. Sinister? What is this?
We are constantly Sinister posting.
Yeah, we are constantly thinking about his personality as Deadpool and Oscar Wilde mixed together. Then, let's see. I had another one on top of my head, but it's gone now. So I'm going to just throw in, again, on the DC side. Let's name check. I like seeing Deathstroke as Sherrocked. He's a flop, and I love seeing whether it's a bunch of teenagers or whether it's Ollie beat him up. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Last but not least, I think you're going to agree with this one. Amy matches yourself that I'm saying instead of you. Minotaur.
Oh yeah, easily.
Dario Agger.
Dario Agger for sure.
Both in Immortal Thor and both in Immortal Hulk first, now Immortal Thor. He's been consistently incredible.
I like that we have an evil Elon Musk who has a bowl for a head.
I liked when he got grinded up by Zemnu. I remember Zemnu and how much better my life was when I watched Zemnu of the Magic Planet.
You're gonna hate me. I still haven't watched the Sir Superhero video.
I don't care. Just as long as you can talk about Zemnu of the Magic Planet.
Live Varney Vamp reaction.
Iconic. Moving on to a question from Cytos, and he asks, what character do you genuinely hate and would drop a comic if they were in it?
Now, knowing you're not gonna really have one. You're not that big of a hater.
Titans.
You are still reading Titans. I would say Deathstroke's close for you, but I don't
It depends on how it's handled, because I read through the Titans arc, although that's more for love of Roy and Donna as characters, but I was going to say maybe Tara, but again, I just read through that terrible Titans arc with her.
I think for me, again, like I'm not, even if like I don't enjoy a character, I'm willing to see what a writer is able to do with that.
The only 2 times I've dropped a comic, or when I first started reading and I read the first issue of ASM and said, okay, this isn't for me, and I stopped, And then when I was reading Saladin on my Daredevil, and I was like, wow, I was going to just read this first arc, but it's taking a really long time, and now there's an $8 issue. I don't want to commit that much to a book I'm not really that invested in.
I'd say the closest for me is maybe, but the thing is, I've never had to read an issue with her. Everything about Tarantula grosses me out. So I think if I had to read an issue with Tarantula, I'd hesitate, but I think I'd still read it. Like, I don't think I'd be like, I can't finish this.
You make me flash back to one of the generally most challenging weeks of my life, where I read a bunch of Deathstroke and Deathstroke wasn't Green Arrow, sorry, with Prometheus and in an arc where he kills Leon, Roy's daughter.
Yeah.
In the same week as I read War Games, Black Mask. There we go. If someone wants to use Black Mask and try and make him like a cool, suave mobster, I would probably drop the book.
That's fair.
And then also that infamous arc of Nightwing, including Nightwing number 93, which is where Tarantula,
that's the thing. But like again, I think I could finish it. Like I wouldn't be like.
I could finish. There are a lot of things I could finish reading, but I would stop spending money on. I think
that's fair.
Like I said, if someone tries to redeem Black Mask and make him cool, I probably would not keep reading that book.
You know what? I'll throw out a funny one just because it'll make a good soundbite. I really do not enjoy Sugar Man. I find him. Wow. I find him insufferable.
He seems right up your alley as a random 90s X-Men villain.
Yeah, but like he's just kind of gross. He's just a big head, and not like a fun MODOK way.
And I guess also, why tell Sugar Man story? You could use a Trevor Fitzroy story.
You can do a Trevor Fitzroy story. You can do a Dark Beast story. You can do a Mr. Sinister story.
You can do a Mojo story.
You can do a Mojo story. There's so many better characters. He's just weird and gross.
And I guess in the same aspect of doing a funnier one, Deadpool.
You don't like Deadpool that much.
I read the issue of Uncanny because that came out the week of my birthday, so I had to. And then I read Alyssa Wong's Deadpool. Other than that, trying to think of any other Deadpool things I've read, and I can't think of anything. I read the X-Force. This is not the book I dropped, but it had Deadpool in it for a little bit. Only like an issue though.
Percy's X-Force.
Oh yeah, Percy did it. Percy wrote Deadpool. I forgot about that because I blocked that part out of it.
You like that one arc in All New Wolverine with Deadpool in it?
It's one of the weaker ones because I don't like Deadpool.
But there you go.
Yeah. And then I had another character I was going to say something about, but it's lost. So next up we have Phoenix 4, who has, first off, we're going to go with this silly question first, and then the serious one. Favorite cake recipe? This isn't a cake recipe, but my least favorite cookie recipe is whichever one burns me. Like the ones we just had. But favorite cake recipe? Anything my mom makes.
I was going to say, like, is it something I have to make, or is it by recipe, I feel like you're implying like what I enjoy making, but I've never made a cake, so I don't know.
My favorite cake recipe is so you get in the car and you drive to Target or Kroger and you see what they have on clearance.
You ask the baker in your family very nicely. That's my favorite recipe.
And your mom asks, so what kind of cake do you want? And she makes it happen, and it's incredible, and it's some of the best cake you've ever had in your life.
If we're simplifying to just favorite cake, though, the Portillo's chocolate cake.
Okay. For me, I have to go with either a red velvet or a mint chocolate cake.
I've had Portillo's chocolate cake on my birthday for almost a decade
this now.
Makes sense. It's my favorite.
So what, for almost as long as you've been reading Batman?
Yeah, just for about.
And then the other question is most underrated character. I feel like my whole brand is about an underrated character.
I was going to say.
So, to subvert expectations and say something that's not Stephanie Brown or Sandra Kane, I'm going to say Mia Dearden. That's also not much of a surprise. Rose Wilson Ravager, again, not much of a surprise. Kate Bishop Hawkeye is incredible, but she's not as underrated now that we've had the show with Haley Steinfeld. And then Escapade, I have to give her a shout out, and Dreamer. And then last but not least, Jitter of the Outliers.
You do love your little jitterbug.
I do. Definitely my favorite mutant from the Ashes. It's between her and Escapade for my favorite recent mutant, as in like since 2020.
I mean, I could bring back Sauron. I think there's a criminal lack of Sauron stories in 2025.
What's your ideal Sauron story?
I think it'd be fun. I mean, honestly, the problem is like we already have my ideal one, and that's him teaming up with Stegron to do Dinosaur Man activities. I really like that. Maybe I've always thought it'd be interesting if like we got something with him and maybe go more for like a magical route, like with Doctor Strange or something like that.
He starts using magic to turn people into dinosaurs?
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Okay.
I think another underrated character, actually very similar in that vein. I like most of the Savage Land stuff, so like Khazar, the Fall People.
You are a sucker for Savage Land because you're
Shaun of the She-Devil.
You're a Conan head through
and through. The fact that like we haven't had any Khazar book in I think 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get cameos as much as he used to.
You're a proponent of a Hickman Savage Land.
Yes, I want a Hickman style Savage Land reboot that brings Aladane back from the dead. Who else?
What's going to be the big character you throw in to get sales?
Ooh, that's
and
a good question.
And why is Rogue going to ignore that and make it a Rogue anyway?
Oh well, yeah, it would be Rogue. I mean, I think Wolverine always works. You know, the beginning of Wolverine Revenge was in the Savage Land. I thought that worked well.
Unlike the rest of that book.
If they still had the Conan rights, I think that'd be a fun crossover. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, that one. Oh, wait. Punisher. That'd be fun.
Okay, Punisher in the Savage Land.
Punisher in the Savage Land would be really fun.
I like it. Next up is Will, the evil autistic, asking, if your favorite female character was replaced with a man, what would their fan and characterization be? And I'll start with this to give you time to think on that. But with Stephanie Brown, we kind of already see it. It would be somewhere between Tim and Dick, of kind of clueless but also way too smart, and just overall silly. Somewhere between Dick's himbo and Tim's LOL, I need coffee memes. And Cassandra Cain probably wouldn't quite be Damien's characterization, but it would be. She's kind of stuck up, but she secretly loves everyone.
Let's see. If Storm was a man, honestly, it would just be another Logan at that point. It'd be like older person with oh, he's so sad. Like, he's been through so much. Mm-hmm. Oh, my little baby Coil. Like, very, very like fan and Bruce, fan and Wolverine. Like, I think people would be obsessed that he got turned into a little boy for a bit, and there'd be a lot of fan art about that.
Mm-hmm. If Escapade was a man, she'd get ignored because people don't care about trans men, and people barely care about Escapade as is.
Exactly.
Same with Dreamer for that one.
I was gonna say, I think if Renee Montoya was a man, people would be like, "Why are there 2 male questions? That's boring."
There's a question to be asked there.
Yeah, there's a question to be asked there, and why did they do it? Mm-hmm. It would not be like a Blue Beetle situation where there's staunch defenders of each consecutive male Blue Beetle.
Yeah, and I'll throw one to you, Batwoman.
If he was like a flaming gay Batman, people would love it.
If he was Midnighter?
Yes, if he was... See, but like...
You think people would characterize this male Kate as a Midnighter?
Yeah, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like, very... Like, lol, I killed you, ooh, like...
Look at that butt.
Look at that butt. Like, I'm gonna go kiss my boyfriend while I kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just insufferable.
Yeah. And... Let's see. Trying to come up with any others I can talk about.
What do you think, Emma? Like male Emma?
People would hate it. People would hate this character. He'd be characterized as just a total asshole. Probably very, very similar to how Shaw is canonically. People would think of this male Emma
That's
as,
fair.
But also wearing white. And I feel like, assuming that canonically getting drawn like in universe with the same style outfits would be consistently much more covered. Even if in universe he was wearing just like a thong, he would get in like just a suit with like 2 buttons undone.
I'd love to see a world where Christian Frost was the Frost that got popular. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be funny.
I agree, but also I think it's better that he doesn't because it means we get good Christian Frost once in a blue moon.
We do get like a rare like Christian Frost dub.
Mm-hmm. So next up is Addie Bromide, and they ask. Favorite cover and worst cover. Go.
I was literally just talking about this. Well, not that it's my favorite, but I was just talking about this cover before we started recording. Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed with Uncanny 150.
Phoenix Must Die.
I love the Phoenix Must Die cover. I think it's iconic. Mm-hmm. I think the fact that it says Phoenix Must Die on it, I think is both very silly and like very provocative. Mm-hmm. Or no, not 150. That's the one where Magneto almost kills Kitty. Is it 140? I know it's a big anniversary number.
I don't know. Phoenix must die.
Yeah, Phoenix must die. You know what I'm talking about. Scott's shooting the eye beams. Jean's wearing her classic costume.
Very Crisis on Infinite Earths of them.
No, that's the one that comes right after.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I do like that cover as well. The only problem is I think Phoenix Must Die is also a better issue. The one that has that cover.
The Death Star trench, sorry.
Yes. The one that comes right after that has that cover, that's a great cover, but it's a recap issue at your funeral, and I'm like, I just read all of this. I'm good.
So a couple of my favorite covers, right now I'm just looking at the ones I literally have hanging on my wall here. The Batgirl issue 53, Batgirl and Robin, with Cass and Steph Ben is really fun. As well as Batgirl number, I can't read the number from here, but the one that has Riot Girls on the cover, the two of them just swinging around. I love them bonding. Then, let's see. Trying to come up with some recent covers. Why can I not think of any? So have you got any, like, I know there's some Krakoa covers I love. Oh, well, of course, it's got any cover of
the Mark Cicchetto cover for Deadpool and Batman.
Yeah, that one's really good. The Green Arrow. And
Speaking of Cicchetto, I'm going to throw in the One World Under Doom variant for Storm number 1, where it's him and Storm dancing together. I love that cover.
And you're talking for anytime Doom and Storm get a good moment.
Yeah.
Let's see, worst covers. Oh boy. There aren't that many that I desperately hate.
I think about the Rob Liefeld Captain America cover a bit.
If he wasn't so self-aware about it, I'd hate him more.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's willing to come back and draw everyone in that pose makes me like it a bit.
Yeah, I respect that.
One that I don't necessarily hate, but I have a lot of strong feelings about is Robin, I want to say number 63. The one with about Steph's baby finally being born. And the cover makes it all about Tim. That's just very characteristic of how Dixon treated the whole story, but it still irks me.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know. There's some Art Germ or DNA covers.
I was gonna say, like, there's just like covers that I find like grody. Yeah. Question number 28.
Okay. Yes. Sneak peek for next week's episode.
Yeah. Question number 28.
We'll talk about it more there.
Yeah. You can hear my not live reaction. I'd seen it before.
My live reaction.
Yeah, you can hear your live reaction to it. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good bad cover.
Yeah. There's a between a bad cover and a worst cover, though. Because the worst cover means I don't like it. I do like that question cover for how silly it is. Oh, speaking of really good covers, Batgirl 72, Blood Brother. That one I have on my desk. It's cast with all the red spotted out. I have a friend who released an album with the cover inspired by that. I don't remember the title, but go check out :3 Boom on Spotify.
Any of Alex Ross's covers for Immortal, Hulk, or Thor are incredible.
Of course.
They fit the tone really well.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to shout out Comic 647 and Robin 126 just because they're both... Comic 647 doesn't actually even have Steph on it. Although if you want a good Batman and Robin cover, that's a really good one. Showing Tim's suit, kind of giving you a peek of what the black and yellow will look like. And then Robin 126 being the cover with Steph Robin. Although Robin 101 I think is a better Steph Robin costume, but that's from World Without Young Justice.
It's not even that badly drawn. In fact, it's quite well drawn. I really, really, really do not like the cover. It's Perez Wonder Woman number 5, where she's all tangled up in Deimos's snakes. I don't know why. Yeah. This just makes me uncomfortable. I don't like that she's really pink. It just feels weird.
You compare that to the cover for issue 1 or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then you compare it to the issue 1 cover, and it's beautiful.
Way later in the series, where she's in her uniform at work.
Yeah, that's iconic. Even the other cover, freaking 6. That's cool. You got Ares doing a big Ares moment,
a big high evolutionary style moment, even.
Yeah. No, most of the covers to the series are quite good. Something about number 5 just. Yeah.
Moving on.
She's so pink.
Moving on to a pretty quick question from Godzilla, and she asks, "Am I the only one who thinks it's weird that my episode of the show is the least gay so far?" Yes.
Yes. Moving on.
Be gayer. I don't know what to tell you. From Luke Wayne, he asks, "For me, when did my Steph fixation start? I kind of went over this. with first reading Batgirls, well, really first reading some of the Tim Drake Robin, Tim Coming Out stuff, which I really enjoyed. But stuff was only there in passing, so I didn't really get a taste of her. And then I think the first thing later on, I think I saw her a little bit when I read some Young Justice, and I know I read Jeff Johns' Teen Titans, and I saw her as Robin, but that was the only thing I read. So I was like, oh, why is this girl Robin? Okay, and then I read the next issue, and it didn't matter. So I was like, okay. Then Batgirls, and then, Batgirl 2009. And then from there, I started going through and starting to read every stuff appearance. And I basically only have New 52 and a couple recent things left.
You're so close.
I don't want to read New 52 though, so I'm going to struggle through for her.
Yeah, you got this.
I've seen like Lynn and Elite and a couple other people struggling through New 52 Catwoman, and if they can do that, I can read New 52 Steph. And then for both of us, favorite fast food restaurant. Now this is a hard one because if I want to talk about, I'm going to go talk about Nothing Else Will Fix It.
That's fair.
But there are some other ones that I like more overall.
I have a weird emotional attachment to McDonald's, and sometimes it's the only thing that can make me happy. So, like an ex that I keep coming back to, I think I have to pick that one.
Yeah. Let's see. Wendy's, that's also a really good,
Wendy's is great.
Kind of widespread one. Not a fan of Chick-fil-A for multiple reasons. But Cane's is good chicken.
Cane's. If you go to a good Popeyes, it's good. Unfortunately, we live near a not good Popeyes.
I still have never gone to this Popeyes, and I think it's for the best.
The legend precedes it.
Potbelly's a good one. It's not
KFC.
That's bordering the line on fast food.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna change. I really like KFC.
I don't know. That's a lot of fast food restaurants. That's way more than one. Next up, Lynn03, and she has, what character do you see yourself most in? I'll let you take this one first.
Oh, that's a hard one.
The follow-up kind of ties in with this as well, about what characteristics draw you into a character most.
I think my thing is, like, with characters, like, even if I don't see myself in them, like, I find, like, very out there stories very relatable. If I had to pick anybody, like, unfortunately, this is a cell phone. I constantly see myself in Constantine, and I'm like, God.
You're not as cool as him.
No, I'm not as cool, but I'm also...
Actually, it's Constantine.
I am terrible as him sometimes.
It's Constantine.
Alan Moore can somersault for all I care.
So whenever there's a new Hellblazer book, are you going to track down the writer and make them think they saw him?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, I've been a disaster bisexual more times than I care to admit. And I think that, like, that wanting to do good, but also that, like, primal, like, self-preservation. Like, I just read the first issue of his New 52 run, and, like, the ending where he's like, I really wish I could have saved you, but I also have to think of myself sometimes. And it's like, ugh, that is unfortunately, like, where I'm at sometimes. And I guess, like, wait, what was the follow-up? It's like...
About what characteristics draw you to a character?
I'm gonna be real, I like chumps. I like people that are like, damn, I kind of suck. Like Mark, Mark, Remy.
Half of the X-Men.
Most of the X-Men. John. I'd even throw, like, I think when Kara's written well, she has a lot of that in her.
Bruce from time to time.
When Bruce is written well, he has that in him. I'd say it's the reason why,
this is why I need to get you to read some Green Arrow or Roy Harper.
I was gonna say, I think when...
Because what, you still have... It's Archer's Quest, yeah. That's really good.
Yes, I will be reading the Percy stuff piercing.
Oh, that too. Archer's Quest is, I want to say Brad Meltzer, I think? Writing Green Arrow and Roy, writing Ollie and Roy, going on a quest to track down some of the things that Ollie left behind before he died.
Yeah.
It's a fun father-son road trip, basically.
Oh, and I like people who are silly. I like silly, goofy, like Sauron. I don't know why Sauron keeps coming up.
You're like, I'm at the lowest I've ever been. Nothing I can do will fix me, and I'm unlovable. And also, hee.
That's why I've been enjoying Batgirl 2009 for that. It's very like, lol. What if I like slammed a cream pie in your face? But also like, oh, my dad and
College Student Crash.
And College Crash.
There's one that I constantly think about where Steph's writing an essay and goes, I cannot punch my way out of this, I cannot punch my way out of this, I cannot punch my way out of this. And that's how I feel anytime I'm doing something in class.
God, it's tracking that I'm not more of a Nightwing fan, because I think Nightwing checks off a lot of my boxes.
He is both of those, depending on what one you're reading.
I think it's just because I don't feel drawn to him that often. Like, I enjoy every Nightwing thing that I've read, I just don't seek it out.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm going to go to a second character, like two characters I see myself in who are basically the same character and from different companies. Skipping Stephanie Brown because I've talked about that relentlessly, and we'll also talk about more after this. But Mia Dearden and Kate Bishop are kind of two sides of the same coin, where they both had incredible lows in their life, and they have found ways to pull themselves up from it with the help of others. And despite struggling, they always are striving for more. They are both looking at their mentors who are flops of men and going, how am I more mature than you? And also, you need help, and I'm going to be that help you need. And I think that's iconic. Very eldest daughter of them. Also, I'm a sucker for a cool girl with a bow and arrow. Unfortunately, I'm not good at archery. I was decent at BB and shotgun, but I can never get archery. And I really want to try and learn, but also it's expensive to do it now.
I did archery for a summer.
Mm-hmm. I just did it at scout camp.
I got yelled at by a racist white guy for
Womp womp.
3 weeks.
Then characters that draw me to a character. First off, I love characters who have just kind of been ignored and left behind. Stephanie Brown falls into that. I've been falling into Matrix May Kent. She falls into that. I recently read Superman of America. They're really fun. It's like Fabian Nicias is writing New Warriors, but for DC. They have a lot of that vibe. And there's a world where the New Warriors are an obscure team who got a random mini in 2000 and never heard from again. And Superman of America had a whole event based around kind of character assassinating and forcing them to be awful. Womp womp. Mia Dearden is in there. Rose Wilson, she hasn't gotten consistently ignored, but pretty ignored, especially lately. You have something to say?
I was going to say, for anyone who's read Local Man by Tim Seeley, Crossjack is unfortunately me, and I hate to think about that. Because if, his lack of, self-awareness of being yeah, I'll just, casually sleep with, my universe's Superman's girlfriend. Surely nothing will go wrong because of this. But also just, the sheer self-loathing that he has after... I need to get you to read Local Man. I think you'd really like Local Man.
I know. I think I read the first issue.
You didn't read the first issue while we were waiting for
C2.
But I have the first trade.
Okay. We'll get to that. But continuing my thing, I like characters who are basically forced to be self-sufficient, even when seeing help around them. Refuse to seek it out, and will continue to face those struggles head on.
Oliver Queen moment. Certified Ollie Queen moment.
There's a reason.
That man is I have a loving family, but screw that. I gotta do this something.
Then characters who just see all the darkness and want to push for the light and want to make something better, even if it's just a little bit. That just always draws me in. I think that's why Green Arrow and the Batgirls in particular have all spoken to me so much. Is that they are put up against terrible things and say, I can do something to make the world a little bit better, and they do it. Moving on to our penultimate question from Moose Kitty, Tinky Winky, and he asks, what an amalgamation of our favorite characters to be like? One for me and one for you. So we already know who mine is. What's yours going to be?
Okay, so if we're taking oh god, are we making a horrid Moon Knight strife monstrosity?
Well, it's just taking one from each of us, and he did specifically call, would it be Moonspoil? And I think
it would be Moonspoil.
But then if that's too predictable, we're doing it up on second, third favorite characters, etc. I think Ravager and Strife could be fun.
That would go crazy.
A time-traveling evil clone daughter.
They have very similar energy, and it's not just the white hair.
That helps, though.
It does help.
A time-traveling evil daughter clone. I'm thinking Laura-style daughter clone.
Yeah, very.
But time-traveling and also anti-hero.
Daddy issues while also having sibling issues.
I like this.
Weird eyes.
Of course. One weird eye, actually.
Yes.
And then you want to throw in one more? I can grab more.
Who do you want your third to be?
We can go Kitty Pryde or Kate Bishop.
Okay, so Kitty. Let's throw... See, I like doing this one DC, one Marvel thing, so I feel like I need another DC. Ooh! Etrigan. I love Etrigan.
Etrigan and Kitty Pryde.
I feel like it'd be fun to have Kitty.
I feel like you lean into the cat as a demonic symbols thing.
You could talk about with her time in Limbo when she became
Yeah.
Shadow Cat for the first time.
Mm-hmm. I like this. What Shadow Cat of the Shadow Pact.
Maybe she consults her family, her home rabbi, learns some about some classic Torah demonology. That'd be fun.
I like this. Any other DC characters you want to throw in? I've got plenty of Marvel I can pick from. Actually, I'll even give you my Marvel one. Right now I think about her, so let's go Jitter.
Ooh. Well, now I need to go for you. Because I was going to say Steel, because I do love me some John Henry Irons. But if we're doing Jitter, I feel like I need a more...
And you could still go Steel, but I don't think you really care about Natasha that much. Even after 52.
Ooh. This is so bad. Manchester Black. Could you imagine like a young mutant radical, like very like Kid Omega style, like it'd be like Quentin Quire with jitter powers. That would go crazy.
And then for the final question from Queer Gal Pal, and she asks, considering the state of the U.S. economy overall, the Diamond bankruptcy, rise of the mystery bag covers, and even a new Marvel DC crossover, there's a lot of signs of the new industry crash. How likely do you think that is?
So that's actually a really good question that I think we've both talked to Terry about several times.
Yeah.
Because while we try to keep things light, we are very aware of the impermanence.
Removing everything of all of it.
This is actually probably my hottest take. I actually think we're about to see a big boon in comics because...
Are you going to cite the DCU and the MCU kind of...
I'm going to say that, but I'm also going to say the fact that streaming is in maybe the worst place it's been ever. Mm-hmm. The prices, how many apps you have to have just to watch.
How many ads there are no matter what.
How many ads, even if you pay a lot. The fact is that streaming is nowhere near as good as it used to be, and people are looking for sequential things to take up their time. Because even though we don't like to watch TV, we do like that experience of like, ooh, tune in next week, tune in next month. Like we like sequential, we just don't like the ads part of it. And while comics do have ads, they're probably the easiest ads to skip ever because you literally can just not read them.
Turn the page.
You can just turn the page. So
I've heard stories about, I don't know if it was radio or newspaper or TV advertisers being like, are we being too intrusive by having this many ads? Because at least in the newspaper or the magazine, you just flip the page.
You can just flip the page.
And now we're living in a world where you're lucky to get more content than ad.
Famously, like YouTube is having unskippable ads these days. Now the problem is that we need to deal with the paper of it all. We're still cutting down trees at a rate that isn't appropriate to how many that we're growing. However, and I do think that while there are maybe more important things that need this, I think comics could be in the conversation. We are seeing a lot more recycled paper products, whether that's bags at the grocery store or I know most cardboard that you buy these days is made out of recycled cardboard. So I could totally see either DC or Marvel being like, we're going to go green and we're only going to use recycled paper now on for our books. And I think that'd be the right way to do it.
I feel like it kind of starts with the gimmick of DC's being like, from this time on, with our Poison Ivy comics, they'll all be printed only on recycled paper. I don't know how they'd manage that. It probably would be a lie, but if it's something that's increasing the use of recycled paper, greenwashing is something that's a lot of talk. And I agree that it's bad when a company is trying to cover up for terrible things with a slight bit of environmental sustainability. Like, I know BP has talked about their environmental policies, and I'm like, you caused the Gulf oil spill. Nothing you do is going to make up for
that's not going to fix that.
However, once a company being like, we're going to start using 25% recycled products, and if they follow through with it, even if it's just a marketing push, if they're following through with it, I don't think that's a bad thing. Because even if that's what it takes, even if that's a profit margin, business publicity thing, it is ultimately getting a better result. But enough of my eco-warrior ranting.
I was going to say, I mean, we're living in a time... I know Lego's saying soon they're going to be using completely plant-grown, like, bricks or something like that.
I know that they're using more paper bags for these
that's
recycled material. I don't know if it's the plant-based bricks. I haven't been following Lego's marketing too much, but Lego is a very public-facing company that's been looking to do the best for consumers and the planet, so it would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, so, like, I think... You know,
I
they're
think
still doing
whichever-
research on like that bacteria that can consume like plastics and that
Yep.
sort of thing.
I think whichever company is the first one to announce that they're making a green push will see a big bump. And I don't know if that's enough to revive the industry, but I think it's enough to give more hope for other publishers to switch and try and replicate that. And that won't necessarily save the industry, but it will definitely give an environmentalist push and make people feel less bad about all of that, which might help considering everything else going on. I will say that comics are on a tightrope right now, and they need to walk it carefully.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I think prices are getting outrageous, and it's like...
They definitely are.
They are getting, but at the same time, I don't think they can really be lowered and still have people be fairly compensated.
That's the elephant in the room, is getting the creators the compensation they deserve.
I will say, I think some comics give you more bang for your buck for the same price range.
I'm happy paying for, like, well, not happy, but I feel better paying $4.99 for an indie book that is very well stocked, has ads withdrawal at the end, so they aren't interrupting the experience, and is compensating its employees better versus paying $8.99 for a Marvel or DC book that's just an issue one with a cardstock cover.
Man, I think this is the most serious we've ever gotten.
Yeah. I'm always happy to get serious, though. I have a lot of interest in sustainability and the environment. I'm studying biochemistry, hoping to do environmental research after I graduate, and also just generally, I'm not known for being woke, but when the time comes, I get woke.
It's my favorite Batman villain, the Woker.
With that, that's all the questions we've been asked.
Well, I was worried we wouldn't have enough, but honestly, this was a perfect amount so that we have a little bit of time to do our last segment before we wrap up.
You know it. You love it.
But this time it has a twist. So we've made it no secret that we kind of love to throw the current state of the Batfamily under the rug.
Because it's rough and deserves it.
But we wanted to take this opportunity to actually be a little bit more positive. Rather than a slander hour, this is a glaze hour. We're going to talk about things we like about the Batfamily. And honestly, things are looking better. Things are looking up.
Things are starting to look up, yeah. With the Hattush ending, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We've seen a lot of the books that are coming out of Hattush, and then obviously the Hattush still hasn't ended, but because of all the delays and shenanigans, we're seeing what's coming after it, and it's looking pretty good. The Nightwing and Batman interaction a couple issues ago was really good. The Fraction Batman's incredible. Batgirl's been unaffected by it, which both fortunately and unfortunately, I would love to see Cass in Gotham, but if it means she doesn't have to deal with the Hattush, then I guess we take that.
We're also getting new
Red
books.
Hood was controversial.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed the first issue. I was kind of excited to see where it goes, but ultimately, I understand why she was fired, just not why she was fired for this one thing. I think that's the first time we've addressed this on this show. So
yeah, I didn't want to talk about it, but like now that it's been a while, I don't particularly like.
The book was kind of interesting. It wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. And like I said, I understand why she got fired. I don't understand why this was the one thing that brought the camel's back.
I was gonna say, I think we're also in a good time. You know, we have Barbara Gordon Breakout that's been announced. We have
I'm very
the new Batwoman.
excited for Barbara Gordon Breakout. It is, of all the books that got announced for Next Level, it is the one that's most writer dependent for me.
For sure.
Basically, if there is a man writing it, I'll probably still buy it and read it, but I will not be looking forward to it as much. But if they get like a Kelly Thompson and Alyssa Wong, someone, maybe Stephanie Williams, since she's going to be doing the Tom King fill-in issues, something like that, I'll be excited to see where it goes. But especially Batwoman getting Rucka back.
I was going to say, ironically, in a twist of fate, Batwoman announced the only man that I could possibly be excited to be writing Kate again with Danny on art. That book is going to be so good. I can't wait for the preview pages.
Oh, yeah. I think it's one of the first ones coming out as
yes.
well. I think
January? Yes.
February? Yeah.
It's a birthday present for me.
Yippee.
No, I'm very excited. Mm-hmm. I also think that...
We still don't know anything about Shadow of the Bat.
No,
it's
yeah.
been announced, and depending on where it goes, it could be interesting. It came to me in a dream that we were getting an Azrael series, so if that happens, then I'll be excited.
That could be interesting.
Actually, no, it didn't come to me in a dream. I just totally forgot that we were getting an Etrigan book and replaced that with Azrael in my head.
maybe the title's very literal. Maybe it's where Damien's going to go, because we haven't been really getting much Damien
Batman
content.
and Robin's
Oh, that's also true. Batman and Robin's still going.
I still haven't been reading that. I've heard it's pretty good though. So
I liked the first volume. I thought it was fun. Yeah, it's just like, I think the problem with the Batfamily is that it's obsessed with its own past too much, and it becomes very cyclical.
The fact that every Cast book has to do a new Shiva story, and every Steph book has to do a new Clue Master story, and every Bruce book has to do, here's a villain that was a part of Bruce's past.
So the fact that now it seems like we're finally moving into, like, I don't want to say like a new day, because it feels like we're always saying that. We said that after Gotham War. We said that after
Rick Grayson, Joker War.
We keep saying Fear State, like
after City of Bane.
City of Bane. I would even throw like the Shadow War stuff in there.
Kind of, that was like 5 issues.
Yeah.
But it feels like every year or two we're like, okay, this is the worst it's going to get, but now we have light at the end of the tunnel and it's going to get better. And it does. And then eventually we get another big kind of slop event and we're like, okay, this is rough, but it's going to get better. And it does. And then we get another slop event.
But honestly, like, so far, like, it's nice that it doesn't feel like we're building anything towards anything right now.
The fact that I know Batwoman said in Greece and Barbara Gordon Breakout makes it sound like it's going to be a very local thing, and it's Barbara Gordon rather than Batgirl. And the fact that even with Cat, like, as much as I want Cass back in Gotham, her being out of there does make it feel like we aren't setting up to do another, like, 2000. Like, we've been in a very 2000s era of Bruce having rough characterization and, like, a bunch of line-wide crossovers in too short of a time. It feels very early 2000s in that way.
The fact that, like, now more than ever, it would feel weird to pull Dick out of Bloodhaven. Like, I think Waters' is really big emphasis on, like,
yeah,
this is his city.
Yeah, basically ever since Rick happened and he kind of got his identity left behind, Taylor and Waters have doubled down and saying, no, this is Dick's city. He will do what he can for it, and he was not going to leave behind. Taylor very literally by bringing the Titans in and having Dick basically take a huge portion of the Wayne money through Alfred and putting it into Bloodhaven, and Waters more metaphorically building that up with his connections to the community.
Well, and that's like another thing I'd say I think is that we're really good is that, like, it ever since we lost Alfred, it's been like a big hole.
He's been haunting the narrative in the best way possible, I think.
And I think now we're really seeing that come to an interesting culmination. I thought Taylor did a really excellent job with that in his run. I think the Fraction stuff so far
from the beginning of the 2009 run will never not make me cry.
Yeah, it's a great scene. I think the stuff we've been getting so far with the Fraction run has been really interesting.
Hallucinations.
Yes.
We all know the feeling of having a voice in your head, and sometimes even that voice being a person. But Bruce even seeing Alfred there next to him with this adds a whole new level to it.
Yeah, it's really fun. Even like the new status quo where it's like, Jim's too old to be the commissioner. It just doesn't make sense. But he's going to be a cop.
Well, really, he was still commissioner. It's just because Vandal Savage did shenanigans that put him down to be cop.
That's right.
Although I think that there could be a really cool story. You put Barbara in prison for something. I don't know what it is, but if she's breaking out, sure. But really, it's just her and Jim sitting on opposite sides of a cell for 6 issues, and it's a very character story. This would get like 3 sales.
And you would be 2 of them.
Okay, maybe 4 sales then, because I know like 2 or 3 other people who'd be into it. So we'll say 10 sales, and I'd be like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah. But I think it'd be really interesting and give a good opportunity to explore Barbara and Jim's characterizations in ways that haven't been done in years.
I really just think that the Bat Office was in a state where it needed.
I think that how bad Hattusha's has shocked the system enough to get good things. Some of these have definitely started before Hattush, but some of it I think is definitely seeing the outcry at this that's almost lasted a year.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you look at like a lot of the worst parts of Zdarsky, they don't feel like something he wanted to do. It feels like something that corporate was like, no, you have to get this in because it's a Batman book and this is what we do.
Especially the Commander Star stuff, which, while not bad, is out of place, and it's quite literally, he's talked about it. Yeah, we had to fill time so they could get Hattush ready. And we still see how that's going, but
the fact that there are 2 ongoing Batman titles.
I think the fact that For Actions launched without a hitch as a relaunch before Hattush ended is one of the best things that could have happened to
Absolutely. Because it reminded them of like what people actually care about with this character.
I'm worried that they're going to get the wrong takeaway from it and just say, oh, we should start relaunching our books more often.
I think we talked about this a couple of weeks
Yeah,
ago.
Superman and Nightwing definitely feel at risk. And I think Nightwing relaunching could definitely bring all this momentum to a stop.
For sure.
Because people joke about Harley Quinn being the fourth pillar. Nightwing is that second thing holding up the Batfamily books. And if the momentum stops there, I feel like it'll kind of transfer through the rest.
I was just going to say, even if we want to get into, like, extended, the fact that Poison Ivy has gotten so many issues.
After, like, 40 issues? I think this is officially G. Willow Wilson's longest-running series.
Yep. That's great to see.
Catwoman's got a pretty long run.
I've heard the recent arc's very good.
Down, but...
they're doing Mafia stuff, which is always...
Okay.
That always works for Selena. Thank you, Tim Sale.
Harley Quinn's had a book.
Harley Quinn is a book that exists.
Written by the person who did the Stegoron and wanted to build the dinosaurs because they keep bringing Stegoron back up.
Stegoron and Sauron, they're the loves of my life.
Not Stegoron, Sauron, yeah.
Also, Harley and Ivy, Life and Crimes. Yeah. I don't think we've talked about... I don't even think I meant... Because it wasn't on my pull list when we did the...
Correct, yeah.
Holy crap.
That was fun.
It was really good fun.
It was really fun. It was really cute. It's blending a lot of different aspects of continuity together in a way I argue better than Mark Waid's done it, just because it can focus on such a small scale, a small time slice, and such a small group of characters.
The Joker actually being like menacing, but not in like an edgy, like early 2000s kind of way. Like
the fact that it did face torn off Joker and was actually kind of bearable.
Yeah, like it's really. If you haven't read it yet, like
and basically like. Obviously, by being a Harley and Joker broken up book, very much cementing itself into that kind of early mid-2000s, will also still, I think, talking about the fallout from, I want to say, Cataclysm or one of those.
No Man's Land, something like that.
Well, cementing itself in those events, and also being New 52 and also being mid-2000s, it does a really good job of squishing that time span together. I think that merging is better than the squishing that DC's been doing. Like having multiple year one stories that's actually 0 years a year two and stuff I don't think works as well as saying like, no, these are kind of going on at the same time.
I think it's also exciting that book doesn't have a set ending in sight. It wasn't announced as a mini.
It's going to go as long as there's an audience for it. So I'd say go out and support Harley Quinn, Life and Crime.
Absolutely. No, it's just like a good... I feel like genuinely positive in like a Bat world right now, which I don't think I've been able to say since I started regularly collecting.
I remember that the last time that things were probably looking this good was like spring 2023. At least in my opinion, it was really good. With Tim Drake Robin getting a new artist, which definitely brought a lot of momentum to that series.
For sure.
Got canceled. Batgirls was still going. I want to say that was Williamson writing Batman. I don't have any complaints. I don't have many comments on it. It was fun.
Well, and that's when the Mariko Tamaki DC book was coming out.
We didn't even talk about Tom Taylor Detective Comics.
Oh yeah, that's also been very good.
Tamaki Detective Comics was really good, and we just about to get into Ram V's run, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
No, Waters' run. Waters was on time.
Yes, and then Ram V.
Yeah, but that was a really good time. I don't remember who was on Catwoman. I want to say that was probably Phillips or Humphreys on Harley Quinn at the time. A lot of good stuff coming out around then. So that might be the last time we've had this kind of high.
Well, and like
Tom Taylor's Nightwing was in full swing.
As annoying as it is, like the fact that like we've had a really good origin story with Batman and Robin year one. Mm-hmm. Dark Patterns has been consistently selling.
The first couple issues of Immortal Legend Batman were fun. I didn't end up picking up issue 3, but 1 and 2 were exactly what it promised, and I shouldn't have bought issue 2. I just bought it issue 1 because it was kind of cool. I bought issue 2 because it says Stephanie Brown in issue 1 and Harper Row.
That was a fun, or even like this is extending a little bit far, but the fact we have Batman Question Arcadia starting at the end of the month.
Green Arrow Batman Question Arcadia.
Yes.
Put some respect on Ollie's
name.
name.
Put respect on Ollie's name. But like we're even getting like revisits to but classic Batman, but not in like a way that feels like nostalgia baity.
Mm-hmm. This is like Marvel's nostalgia series, but better.
Yeah. Well, and it's not bringing back a living corpse to write it.
I'm glad that DC doesn't have the Batman farm upstage the same way that Marvel almost quite literally has an X-Men farm upstage.
Well, look what they tried to do it with Jeff Loeb, and look what happened. You think they were gonna bring back like Dixon or like somebody else, and then like Hattush like
Honestly,
crashed and burned?
I don't think they ever had plans to bring back Dixon because he's talked about how he doesn't get residuals from stuff anymore.
That's true. Who's some other like? Chuck Austin did some good Batman stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather him come back and write Batman than come back and write X-Men.
Gonna hold space for a second. Anyway, let's see who else. See, the problem is like, I know they're like famous Batman runs, but I'm always just like,
a lot of them are old enough that I have to look up. Is this person still alive?
well, and like, do we really want that? Like, could Morrison come back and do like a little mini right now? Sure. Do they want to? I don't think they really do.
Could Wolfman come back and do one? Sure, but why did he do Batman when he could do Titans? And I'm glad they aren't doing either.
If they ever want to do another annual of like, let's revamp somebody's origin story. Get Wolfman on here.
And whose story are you revamping?
This might be a hot take. I think Beast Boys needed an origin revamp for a hot minute. I think it's very confusing.
What's confusing about getting a disease and getting a monkey virus bacteria thing to stop it?
Well, and like, are his parents still alive? Are they not? When does he get formally adopted by the Doom Patrol? Is he still adopted by the Doom Patrol? Because New 52 said screw that.
It definitely is, because it got brought up in the recent.
It did get brought up in the recent one.
One of the few good things I'll give that run is having some fun Beast Boy and Doom Patrol moments. You know who could definitely use who could use not just a revamp, but a total reboot of their character? Tara Markov.
Yeah, and if
also,
anybody's gonna do it,
I don't know if I want it to happen.
Yeah, that's fair. That recent stuff was just not.
Yeah, I could see if you do Johns or Wolfman and get them to do a Rose Wilson miniseries.
Ooh, speaking of extended Batfamily, Batman Beyond Static Shock started this week. That's pretty exciting.
I heard it was fine. Yeah.
The fact that it's set in the proper continuity and not future state, very cool. I appreciate that.
Well, if it's future state, then it'd be Tim Drake.
Yeah, boo, bad. But the fact that Terry is in future state, but he's like the first one, and then Tim takes over for...
Yes. And now Terry's at the vanishing point, and Tim is in the present, but is going to disappear soon.
Boo. Bad.
There's a lot going on in JLU right now. I don't know.
Oh! Batman Superman World's Finest. Totally forgot. Great book, very fun.
Speaking of digging out old writers to do kind of nostalgia series.
But that's like the perfect kind, because it like straight up doesn't matter, right? It's like just like the peak, like...
It's very much like the Claremont Gambit, where it's like, you want to know how Gambit got his pink battle armor? Not really, but I don't care. But it's just not going to impact things, so go for it.
I can totally pretend this never happened.
I just don't remember most of what happened, but it's sitting in my box over there with issue 1 signed by the legend himself.
That's true.
Right after he basically just did question my nerd cred because I'm too hot for him, I guess.
Well, and then like you compare that. I feel like DC's doing a lot of reconstructive work right now that Marvel should be doing, and they're just refusing not to.
Yeah. I wish I had as much hope for the X-Men line in Shadows of Tomorrow.
I wish I had. Yeah, I wish I had that hope. I wish I had.
I will say I'm excited for Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil's gonna be good.
I mean, Stephanie Phillips will do a great job. She's really passionate about this, and I trust her.
As long as Corsair's not in it, it should be fine.
You're never gonna give up on this.
You can quote me on this right now. If I ever get the opportunity to meet Stephanie Phillips, I will ask her, hey, what the hell was going on with that?
You'll be on your deathbed still talking about Corsair and the one issue of Phoenix.
2, thank you. It's a mini arc.
You'll be on your deathbed and still talking about those 2 issues of Phoenix.
SMH. See, it was restorative though when Jen McKay did the 1 issue where Corsair was in it and Alpha Flight was in it. That was like very restorative to me specifically.
Chicken soup for Cybershine's soul.
Yeah, it was chicken soup for my soul. I think with that we should probably cut it off. Thank you to everybody who wrote in. We really appreciate it. I assume probably in another what episode? I don't think we said what episode this would be. This would be
I'll let you do the math. You got this.
Because we just dropped 4?
So I know because that's your 4.
So this will be 5.
Yay.
So maybe we'll do this in another 5. We'll do this for the 10. Or we'll wait 10 episodes and we'll do this for the
Maybe
15.
it'll be a Happy New Year thing. Who knows?
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, thank you to everyone who wrote in. Thank you
Yeah.
to everyone who's been listening to us just randomly talking. And Spotify wants us to tell you to go follow us. So who am I to argue with
Yeah,
what
we don't
Spotify
want to
tells
make the
us?
Spotify gods mad. So
Yeah.
please like, share, and subscribe.
Don't you mean comment? Should that be there?
Comment down below.
Doesn't YouTube have a new thing you have to tell people to do? Hype the video or whatever?
Yes, they have like Twitch style like bits.
I don't know. This episode has been brought to you by me playing with a random magnet clip and the red light going by every 5-10 minutes. Hope you've been enjoying that background noise. But anyway, this is Spoiler signing off.
This is Cybershine 3. Catch you next week.